this buggy down!
We're gonna crash!
Now you listen to me, young lady. Even if we're horribly mangled, there'll be no sad faces on Christmas.
What are you doing?
I wonder if I still have a bit of a case of the butterbeard.
Butterbeard?
Butter in the beard.
I don't see any more
No?
butter.
No more butter? Okay, got it out.
Okay. No, that's the wrong cardigan.
Welcome back to Life Lessons in Film.
Hello.
Today we're going to be making sense of life through How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It follows
The Grinch.
The Grinch. The Grinch!
He lives outside
In Mount
of
Crumpet.
Mount Crumpet, outside of the small town of Whoville. He used to live in Whoville, but he doesn't live there anymore. He's become an outcast. Every year, he observes the Whoville community have Christmas, and it drives him absolutely crazy. So one Christmas, he decides that, you know what, I am going to pulverize their Christmas. And he does by pretending to be Santa and turning his dog Max into Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He steals all the Christmas gifts, the Christmas decorations, the Christmas food. He does this at night with the view that they're gonna wake up the next morning and find Christmas ruined. But then he wakes up the next morning to the sound of them singing. He's really upset, but then as he hears them singing, he realizes that, oh, so Christmas is not really about gifts or presents or decorations. After all, there's more to Christmas than all that. And then his very tiny heart grows bigger with this new meaning of Christmas. He ends up returning the gifts to the Whoville community and participates in the Whoville Christmas celebrations. And yeah. Why we liked it.
It's just such a romp. Favorite all-time Christmas movie. We watched it recently, and then we watched it again
like
just
2 days.
Just to kind of freshen up before recording, and I was enjoying it just as much.
Totally rewatchable. The music is also really good. You're a mean one.
Mr. Grinch.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel.
And it's super quotable. I like that quote where he's like going through the dump it.
Oh yeah, dump it to crumpet.
And he gets to his place and he's like,
Car would have paid for itself by now.
I'm down a size and a half. I'm just trying. I'll keep it that way.
yeah.
It's so good.
So much fun.
It's so much fun.
The whole thing. Jim Carrey.
Yes.
That's another reason we loved it.
Yeah.
He's great. He's just very zany. He's a very zany guy.
Funny she didn't rat on us, though. Must be afraid of reprisals.
It's very clear that he had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And you just also have a lot of fun with him, too.
Yeah. Jokes for kids and adults.
Yeah.
Super creative, super spontaneous, a lot of improvising, you can tell.
Yeah.
And a lot of great messages. And it's heartwarming and wholesome.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I like about it, too, is that it manages really well to walk the tightrope where both adults and kids can really enjoy this movie. There are a lot of sexual innuendos in there.
We were having our annual holiday get-together.
Hey, honey! Our baby's here! He looks just like your boss.
It's the best of everything. It's very rewatchable. It's great entertainment for everybody. And there's a lot of deep stuff in there. A lot of stuff to think about, to munch on.
The characters.
Of course, you have the Grinch and Cindy Lou. Mayor Augustus Mayhew. Yeah.
And then Martha.
Whovier. The family. Cindy Lou's family.
Yeah.
Lou, the dad, and then
The mom, whose
the
name I
mom.
can't remember right now. We'll just kind of write it here.
Yeah. The
The two brothers who
start the whole thing. I mean, you have Cindy Lou's family, good, sweet family,
Mhm.
but I think they're lost in the hustle and bustle. The father is well-meaning, but he's confused at all the questions that Cindy Lou has about why are we doing this? Why are we doing that?
Yeah, the whole time Cindy Lou's asking, what's the meaning of Christmas? But the parents don't really sit down to talk to her. The dad is very busy. Understandably, he's a mailman and he's sending all the gifts and things to people around Whoville.
This year, I'm gonna beat that prim, perfect little prissy Betty. Hi, Martha.
The mom is always competing with Martha for the best Christmas decorations, and so she's kind of obsessed with that. As is the whole town, really. Everybody's spending a lot of money buying
They're not
gifts.
really different. They're like any of the other families in the Whoville. Yeah. At first, I guess they're kind of embarrassed towards Cindy Lou's curiosity and nonconformity, and then by the end, they kind of see the value in her questioning why the Who's care so much about the materialistic end of their celebrations, and also then learn from her compassion and open-mindedness. The mayor?
You don't have a chance with her. You're 8 years old and you have a beard.
He's the closest thing to a villain in the movie.
He's been bullying the Grinch since they were kids. He's part of why the Grinch left Whoville in the first place.
And he's a bully in general.
He's a bully
he bullies
in general.
his second in command.
I don't like discussing this Grinch so very close to Christmas, but maybe if you hear the truth, you'll understand why. Put your back into it.
Shamelessly buys Martha a car with the taxpayers' money.
Generously provided by the taxpayers of Whoville.
No shame whatsoever.
Yeah, he's gotten quite comfortable in his position. Power.
He's just not a good guy. Definitely hates the Grinch. Has a lot of envy towards the Grinch.
Doesn't understand why the woman that he is wanting to marry has attraction towards the Grinch.
Yeah, Martha has always had a crush on him since they were kids and continues to have a crush on him, and the mayor hates it.
Martha Whovier, not much to say. I think she's generally a good person who had sympathy and felt bad for the Grinch when he was getting bullied.
It was a horrible day when they were so cruel to him. And I could hardly bear it.
Felt bad for the Grinch when he was getting bullied, but I think gets lost in the consumerism and...
Well, I wouldn't say that she gets lost in the consumerism. She likes Christmas. I don't think it's a bad thing to like Christmas or any kind of holiday.
Right.
You see her decorating her home.
Yeah.
Where she's also a good person. She actually cares. When the Grinch gets bullied, she's like, that was the worst thing, to watch people be so cruel that way. So I think she's a nice woman.
I think she is. What I meant when she got lost in the consumerism of the culture is that, you know, she kind of gets woken up by it, as they all do, but her and the mother, right, they're still competing. She's like,
Isn't this antique darling? It's handcrafted and almost 100 years old.
I'm really impressed.
she is into the idea of showing off. You know, it's meant to impress. She was trying to impress people.
You're right. Like, she's a good person. She's a sweet woman, recognizes cruelty, but at the same time, like the rest of the town, like
enjoys her toys,
family,
enjoys her appearance to the other people,
and does dabble in the seedy side of Christmas a little bit too much, which the whole town does, really, except the Grinch and Cindy Lou.
Yeah, Cindy Lou.
Sweetie.
Yeah.
She's so cute.
So cute. I think she has innocence, curiosity, skepticism even, of like, well, okay, people are telling me this stuff. Everyone's always telling me this is what's important, this is what's not, but things aren't adding up, and I have more questions than answers. She maintains that natural wonder and curiosity.
Yeah, that song where she's questioning Christmas, wondering if Christmas has changed, or is it me who's changed?
Yeah.
Where are you, Christmas? Why can't I find you? Why have you gone away?
I'm like, you're what, like 8, 9?
She's precocious, but a lot of people go through that where you're dropped into this reality as a kid, and then you kind of have to make sense of it. You see everyone around you just overly kerbobbled, and you don't understand what's the point of it. You don't feel the way they feel. You don't understand why they need to feel that way.
Yeah.
So anxious and stressed all the time.
Boy, nothing beats Christmas, right?
I guess.
Yes.
Well, it's just I look around at you and Mom and everyone getting all kerbobbled. Doesn't it seem superfluous?
I like her because she takes things with a grain of salt. I think where people are involved, especially when it's someone you don't know, I don't think it's fair to not give them the benefit of the doubt. If you hear something about someone that you've never met, I don't think it's fair to say, okay, well, I'm going to take your word for it, even though you've never actually met the person. I think that shows a lot of integrity, especially for someone who's a kid, because the Grinch is kind of like, you know, this mystified character who, I don't know, eats kids or whatever. And she's like, you know what, I'm going to give this person a chance. Meets the Grinch and is curious about him in the mailroom when she's helping her dad out.
Little Cindy didn't know what to do. In her head tumbled a conflict or two. If the Grinch was so bad, then why did he save me? Maybe he wasn't so bad.
Come on, let's go home.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Instead of seeing what other people have been saying about him, she sees a good person. She sees in him things that he hasn't recognized in himself, which I really like. The night when the Grinch decides to ruin Christmas for everyone, Cindy Lou goes down for some water and catches the Grinch.
Santa?
What?
Don't forget the Grinch. I know he's mean and hairy and smelly. His hands might be cold and clammy. But I think he's actually kind of sweet.
But he's actually really sweet. And the Grinch is surprised. Oh. And later says, I don't know, sweet girl, but...
Judge a character.
So he's talking about himself. And that's his perception of himself. He doesn't quite understand why she sees this in him.
She's mature ahead of her years for the fact that, you know, she's running into that conundrum that happens sometimes as a coming of age thing where you feel like, okay, I'm embodying the values that have been passed down to me by family and society. I was taught to be compassionate to everybody and believe that everyone is deserving of love and compassion and we should be together as one and support each other. And yet my family and society as a whole seem to be wondering why I'm, you know,
they teach me these values,
living
but they
the
don't
teachings
actually.
that
She's the only one who is living by the values that society
espouses.
So bad that the mayor lies and pretends that there's actually
makes up stuff.
Just to avoid involving the Grinch in the Christmas festivities.
The book also says the award cannot go to the Grinch because sometimes things get the lead pipe cinch.
You made that up. It doesn't say that.
Max is the cutie dog that comes along for the ride with the Grinch. Even though the Grinch never really treats Max all that well until the end, Max is kind of the Grinch's conscience. Whenever the Grinch was trying to do something heinous and get away with it, Max would remind him, maybe you shouldn't.
That is not a chew toy! Stop it, Max! Get that out of your mouth! You have no idea what it's been!
When he was afraid to accept the invitation to be the Christmas cheermeister, Max pulls the lever, right?
All right, I'll go. But I'll be fashionably late. No, yes, no, yes. No, yes! Definitely not. All right, I've made my decision. I'm going, and that's that. Ah, had my fingers crossed. Maybe I should flip a coin!
Yeah.
Okay,
you're
going. Make a decision for you here.
Yeah.
It'll be good for you.
Yeah, he's a good friend, I would say.
Yeah.
He takes a lot of the hits.
Max, grab a bag. Welcome back to the rep. Of course, when I say we, I mean you. It's all you, Maxie!
3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it.
Yeah. Whoa!
The Grinch, he's a sad guy, not a bad guy. It can look similar, but it's not the same thing.
The Grinch is a good example of how hard it is for people to be vulnerable. He's very sad about being ostracized from Whoville. He wants to be a part of Whoville again. One time he's sleeping and in the background you hear the Whoville community singing and he starts singing himself. He doesn't really realize that he's doing that, and then when he comes to and oh no!
Tick tock, counting down the Christmas clock. Old, young, big, small.
Blast this Christmas music! It's joyful and triumphant.
and he goes back to his grump mode. But that just tells you what the truth is. He enjoyed being a part of the community. He also likes Christmas. He likes singing the songs.
It's part of him.
Yeah, it's part of him.
Yeah.
And he misses it. But it's too painful to accept that I'm no longer a part of this. I no longer get to participate in all of these fun things that I used to participate in.
Yeah.
And no one is coming out here to get me.
Yeah.
No one's coming out here to say, I'm sorry, hey, we miss you.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just biting the bullet and saying, you know what, I miss these people. I'm just going to go and make things right.
Mm-hmm.
That would require vulnerability, but you're still sad.
Yeah.
And so you go in defense mode instead.
He shuts them out, shuts people out so before he can get hurt again. And he numbs himself and distracts himself from having to think about how alone he is and how bored he is and how sad he is.
Excellent, yeah.
He moved away from Whoville because he was bullied by the kids in school and the adults. The adults participated. The teacher laughed along with the students the day he decides to shave.
Look at that hack job!
He decided to just leave. And so he doesn't have any faith that the community actually cares for him, but he still wants that community at the end of the day.
The community sees it as, why would we want to, we've even got it written down as a description for this person that is Grinchy, is someone that doesn't like cheer and Christmas. It's like, okay, but why is that word a word, right? You created that person in the Grinch. You were the one that hurt someone so badly that now they hate everything.
I'd bark in, Abacanesia who? I hate you! Aaron B. Benson who? I hate you. Hate, 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 hate. Double hate. Loathe entirely.
But then you get stuck in that. It's not the Grinch's fault initially, but then he does bring on his loneliness after, because then he continues to shut people out and scare and hurt people back. So when he checks to see if he has any voice calls, let's see if anyone called him, and no one called him, and then he checks his voicemail, and it's very, very aggressive.
You have no messages?
Odd. Better check the outgoing.
If you utter so much as one syllable, I'll hunt you down and gut you like a fish. If you'd like to fax me, press the star key.
Someone might be in a really bad place and they're confused at why no one wants to help them out or be around them, but it's because they're not realizing how much they're pushing people away and how off-putting they've become or how hard to deal with they've become.
And it was like the cycle.
Yeah.
They made him, and now he's what they said he was.
Yeah. And now he is now harassing them or scaring them.
Yeah, and then that's making it hard for them to want to get closer. Like, he wants them to get closer.
Yeah, they make it harder for him, he makes it harder for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like one of those things where there are two people in a relationship and something bad happened, but no one is willing to step up and just say, okay, I'm going to make the first move to going back to how things used to be. Pride.
Pride.
The town has pride, the Grinch has pride.
Yeah.
But I would say the town was the worst here because it's like a whole town against one kid.
Yeah, and an absence of safety, which can then give you vulnerability. If you don't have safety and vulnerability, then you need pride.
He has a lot of insecurities, which unfortunately happens a lot when people tell you that you're a certain way. You start to believe it.
Everything about him. He's green, he's furry, and
clammy, cold,
they make him
gross.
Feel like everything about him is bad or wrong.
He can't even be mean. I remember when Cindy Lou went to his place to invite him to be Cheermeister, and he's just like, ah!
Run for your life before I kill again!
He just sees right through it. Themes.
Hurt people steal Christmas.
Hurt people steal Christmas. Totally not. Theme number 1, the bad guy isn't always the bad guy. The mayor is the real curmudgeon in this movie.
Yeah, it's entitled, selfish, arrogant, pompous.
Honestly, the way he was as a kid, it hasn't changed. He was just as mean and he bullies kids. The Grinch, on the other hand, who seems like he's a bad guy, you realize that, oh, actually, he's just a hurt guy. That's it. Next time you see a bad guy.
Make him holiday cheermeister. Make him compete against kids in a sack race.
Yeah.
That maybe doesn't support our thesis. Does just knocking over kids left and right. But he's mostly a good person. Just a bit too competitive.
We can't all be perfect.
He's very competitive because he has to prove to himself that he's worthy. He feels so worthless.
Theme number 2 was the commercialization of Christmas.
Yes.
Merry Christmas! Thank you for stopping by. Wait a second! Don't forget to change!
Another minute closer to Christmas!
And for the next 5 minutes only, 99% off!
The whole movie is anti-materialism over Christmas holidays.
It's about relationships, good relationships, and spending time with people, and not about buying stuff you're going to use once and you don't really need. Extravagance.
Not even the extravagance, just the bloodless exchange of socks and books you'll never read.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Exchange for exchange's sake.
Why are you doing it? Mostly for guilt. You don't want to be the guy who shows up without a gift, or because you feel like you have to do it, or because you have to force closeness where there isn't a closeness. The people in your life right now, if you guys didn't exchange gifts, what would there be between you? What would be...
Are the gifts the thing that's keeping it going?
Yeah. In the movie, the Grinch talks about how, you know what happens to all the gifts that you guys buy? They all end up in the trash.
You want to know what happens to your gifts? They all come to me. In your garbage. You see what I'm saying? In your garbage!
I could hang myself with all the bad Christmas neckties I found at the dump.
And the avarice.
The avarice never ends!
It's not even things that people want a lot of the time. It's not need, it's not want, it's just here.
Yeah.
Here's a thing.
It's all very stressful and I think unnecessary, and it makes you lose the meaning of what Christmas is about.
Cindy wakes them up from that when they lose all their gifts and they think, well, I guess that's the end.
You can't hurt Christmas, Mr. Mayor, because it isn't about the gifts or the contests or the fancy lights.
That's what Cindy's been trying to tell everyone.
And me. He's been trying to tell me.
Oh, Cindy Lou, this is what you've been trying to tell us the whole time. I'm happy. I have a family that I love. And so then afterwards, the Grinch gives the townsfolk the Christmas gifts back. But at this point, it kind of has value because there's a bond. I think a gift becomes valuable when there's a bond between the two people exchanging it. But when there isn't a bond, it's just kind of like...
It means nothing.
It means nothing. Yeah.
Another theme is it's easy to, and can be great to live blissfully ignorant for those allowed to be blissfully ignorant, but not for those that have to deal with the ramifications of the blissfully ignorant. The Grinch has to deal with all the garbage and trash, the single-use toys, the single-use wrapping and everything. Planned obsolescence. His life gets dirtier and grungier because of all of the stuff that these people throw away that they don't even think about. They don't realize the amount of destruction and pollution they're creating because they get to buy the stuff, have a good time, and not have to see where it goes. They don't think about it, they don't care about it.
There's always someone who is affected negatively by your blissful ignorance. Yeah. You keep playing with your nails. When you're holding my hand, I don't want you to play with my nail with your nails because I can't hold your hand properly.
Oh.
I could tell that you're playing with it because I'm like, what is happening? I can't hold you.
Burning questions?
Can you do that again?
Burning questions? Would you rather have poo pudding or roast beast? Depends on the pudding.
Is there a roast beast? How do we?
At the end. Yeah, you see it.
But we didn't even talk about it in the movie, in this review. So I don't understand why it's coming up.
Wow.
This is what I think. The better question would be: do you think we should officially scrap gifts for Christmas?
Yeah. Should we just go no gift Christmas?
Yeah.
Maybe it's okay to give gifts, but you can also send a message, like a note, to a family member that you're not really close to, and it can just say like, we don't like each other, so this is your gift.
Yeah, is that okay?
Because it's weird getting gifts for people.
This is out of obligation.
Yeah, this is obligation, and
I don't like you. You don't like me. You don't know me. I don't know you.
Here's a doodle of a horse. Yeah. What's another burning question?
Would the car have paid for itself?
Yeah, probably. It's quite a ways to mount a crumpet. Well, it seems pretty efficient to just take the dump it.
Yeah,
the crumpet.
I think so too.
Hoopville already seems pretty congested as it is, the amount of cars there were, so maybe it'd be better to just take public transit. Which is worse, jury duty or pink slip blackmail? What was the other one? I almost got jury duty one time, but then the case they settled out of court or something, so I don't know if it would have been that bad.
What is your version of the Grinch's...
His garbage and glass and old bananas.
That the Grinch gorges on when he's bored or low.
Yeah.
What is your version of that? What do you gorge on?
Yeah.
We all have something.
Yeah, that's some stuff we had to say about how the Grinch stole Christmas. But what did you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Share your thoughts on our thoughts. Until next time, thanks for watching. That's right. Peace.